Konversation. This is your host, the wonderful, beautiful, and magnificent Kyra. Yes, I did. I gave myself a banging ass introduction because nobody introduces me but me. So I'm loving on me today. So there you have it. I hope everybody has had a wonderful, beautiful, and productive day today. And we thank you for joining us tonight. Even though we like mad late right now. But you know, stuff happens. Anyway, let's introduce the co-host, Miss Natasha. She's in the army now. Hey! And we have my magnificent handsome co-host, Mr. Derek Watts.
Boom. I'm glad you got that one right.
Yes, we cannot piss off Mr. Watson since he controls the controls. And even though I do not see my third co-host, Mr. Justin Rucker, he is here. Justin. I guess he will appear when you get it together. But any old way, tonight's topic is whose responsibility is it to raise your children?
Watch your own dang kid.
And I think that everybody on this podcast tonight are parents. And I think being a parent, you have, it's a mindset that you have. It's either, you had a child, you raised a child, or you have a better concept, which is it takes a village to raise a child. I like both. But as a mother, I am very thankful for my mom and my mother-in-law and my sister and brother and my sister-in-law, because I think without their help, my kids would be basket cases. No, seriously. They help me. When I had to go to work, you need a babysitter. You don't want to send your kids to just any old body because, you got trust issues. I know I did. So you kind of do need your family. But is it their responsibility? No. Absolutely, it is not. It was never their responsibility, but I was very thankful and grateful for the help. But it's not their responsibility to do anything actually for me, except be the grandparents, the aunties, and the uncles. And I think that's what they was. Honestly, they, even though they went over and beyond for them, I still think they was doing it as an aunt, as grandparents and stuff. Not raising them. I raised them children, so if you see them in the streets, that's all me. So my baby. They got a daddy, y'all. They got a daddy. So they daddy got some part in the raising of the children. But it's only me and his responsibility to make sure our kids are good though, and that they raised properly. Nobody else's responsibility. So when I see or you hear how people, as I have seen on social media, in on some of these parents because grandma is raising them or they living with an aunt. I think that all sometimes may come from circumstances, situations, things out of people's control. And sometimes it's children raising children. So the grandparents don't have a choice but to step in and kind of hope that situation are going away. Mm-hmm. That's just, my. What do you think, Tasha?
I still party. I stopped having kids. So that being said, no, I'm a baby lover. I love kids, but if it's the parents' responsibility for the most part is their responsibility. You have to consider there's two of them. So what one can't do, the other one should be able to.
In some cases, it's two.
Yeah, exactly. So in the event that you only got one parent, then yeah, I'm going to help. And I just don't care for the ones that abuse it. Because I do believe that it takes a village. I believe that, you get a couple of people with the right state of mind, and you could pull together an awesome kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't just be leaving your kid and demanding and making people stay with
them. I know that's right.
You can't.
What about you, Derek? How you feel about that? Whose responsibility is
it? It does take a village, but my whole point is don't try to play me like I'm the village idiot. It takes a village to produce a well-rounded child, well-rounded children. It takes a lot of different. It takes a lot of different. What's the word? It takes a lot of different personalities and structures to make sure that this child is being cared for and loved in all aspects of how a child needs to. That's why our children of the past years, are so kind of messed up because people have they have shut the village out, and because they have shut the village out, now this child is missing these different personalities that help mold them into who they are. As a child, I can remember my landlord that lived upstairs. Her name was Miss Williams. Little old lady, spunky, had a very big heart. I don't remember much conversations with her, but I remember the fact that she kept a lot of. She stayed with foster children. She stayed opening her door to foster children. She had a daughter. Her name was Trina, I think, or Trudy. She was one of them, glamour girls. She had one of them little small behind Mitsubishi Galants. The Back to the Future cars. It was like a 2-seater, really small. She had a son. I remember his name because his name was my name. His name Derek. Her daughter and her son lived in the attic on the 3rd floor. She lived on the 2nd floor, and my parents lived on the 1st floor. My next door neighbor was one of my closest friends. His mom was mad cool. She was the one that bought all the snacks, and he had all the current video games. The lady down the street, her name was Miss Sweeney, and when I had to go to school when we got burned out of our house, but I still went to my same school. My mom would drop me off to Miss Sweeney, and I would leave from Miss Sweeney's house to walk to school every morning. Miss Sweeney was funny because Miss Sweeney used to babysit, right? And I used to look at her eat these kids' food while feeding them. right? So she would sit there and they'll have peaches. She'll sit there and eat some peaches and then give them some peaches. Like, so it was like, do you have food in your own house, miss? But all of these different personalities, all these different people, helped to mold me to become who I am. Seeing Derek, and he was like that. He was like, that's when light skin was in style. So he was the man. You see him, he would come there. You know when he walked by. Yeah, that's when light skin was in style. He'll walk by. You knew he walked by because you smelt him. You was like, okay, do put on cologne. You see the ladies like, and you would see a different lady, but never saw him get caught. So you didn't know who was a friend, who was a cousin. You didn't know who they were, but you always knew somebody was going by. His sister was more, like the hot chick who. She wasn't beat for no dude, but the dudes would come by, but she would be like, oh, whatever. But it was like seeing these different people and experiencing these different things helped to mold me, especially because my parents were older. So, because of course my mom passed, my dad wasn't in my life, so my aunt and my uncle were raising me. So I had older people, parents who, they weren't the coolest, the hippest. We went to church on Sunday, went to church on Tuesday, went to church on Saturday. So when we went outside, we were those kids that you can't leave the front porch type kids, you know what I mean? But these people were the ones like, nah, let them go next door. Nah, let them go, over to the side of the house and stuff like that. It was those kind of people, those different personalities that helped mold and make my personality the personality I have. And now, today, because we have shut the community, we have shut the village out, now it's like, I now only have Shaquanda and Darrell when he come around to mold my personality around. So if I'm a dude and Darrell is not in my life and all I got is Shaquanda and Shaquanda girlfriends who's talking about Darrell because he ain't no good and the rest of that stuff, now I'm picking up feminine qualities because all I am is around females. So I may actually like girls, but I pick up girl isms, and now I'm in school being made fun of because now, oh, that cat gay, or he fruity, or all the other stuff, because you shut the village out, and now what you would normally, if you had a village, you would normally get to see that nice guy who was walking around smelling good and liking female, and you got to see these other females walking around, and you got to see these different things. Now I don't. All I get to see is this one person, and now I have to emulate that one person because you emulate what you are around. You emulate what you feed. What you feed becomes stronger. So if I'm around a whole bunch of women, then that's going to pull all those mannerisms. So that's when you find yourself as a dude sitting around with your legs crossed, or you sit around.
Let me ask you this. Is it that we have shut out the village, or is it that the village has become too dangerous to have you?
No, we shut the village out because we know, I'm pretty sure as a parent, my mom and my dad was very cautious about who I was allowed to be around. You wasn't thrust out into the village and could go to anybody. There was only certain people you was allowed to be around. The problem became when we were like, and I heard the stories even when it was growing up, and you hear about when it was a real life village, and it was like, oh, well, if I got caught doing something wrong, that person will beat my butt, they bring me to my parent, and then my parent will beat my butt, right? That's not happening now. Because if someone touched one of mine, and Kat is prime example, let somebody put their hand on one of Kara's kids. She don't care what they did. They could have had a gun shooting up the block. Let them come home talking about Mr. Derek saw me shooting up the block and he smacked me in the back of the head. She gonna be like, wait, first of all, you ain't had to hit him in the back of the head. I know he was wrong. You should have called me and held him till I got there. Don't put your hand on my babies. That's where the mindset left, and that's why people stop.
Why you me as an example?
Because we all know it's the truth. Exactly. So, and that's why the village stopped being a village, because now if I'm seeing your child doing something wrong and I'm disciplining that child at the moment of what they're doing wrong, But when I come to let you know, I disciplined that child because they were doing wrong, and now you giving me attitude or you ready to fight me because I disciplined your child. Don't say nothing to my child. Keep your hands off my child. Mind your business. Nobody asked you to do any of that. Now I'm gonna mind my business now because that's what you told me to do. And now the village is becoming less and less and less effective because of people who got that mindset of don't touch mine.
Let me defend myself. I don't have a problem
against the truth.
Let me defend myself. Okay. I don't have a problem with disciplining my kids. It's all who is disciplining my kids.
Right.
If his grandmother disciplined him, I don't have a problem with that. If his aunt, uncle, whatever, I don't have a problem.
But that's not the village. How many villages have
village?
No, but how many villages in the old neighborhood? How many villages had uncles and aunts in that village? How many people?
I didn't like my village.
Right, exactly. They didn't have uncles and aunts in the village. You had neighbors.
They had Miss Parker.
You can't trust the village. We had the village. I just didn't like my village. My village got undefeated. I didn't like my village at all. Okay, my village told too doggone much.
Right, see?
We couldn't even get through the front door before my mother was standing there with the belt. Hey, nitty nat nat. But no, I didn't like my village, and I ain't about to sit here and act like I did. Even though I respect some old people, because we lived on a block with a bunch of old people, and it was maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 families with kids on that block, and everybody else was just, grandmas and grandpas. But still, I didn't like my village at all, at all. But for me, my village is just my family. I don't look to like my neighbors or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or anything. Never did I. I always, if I needed a babysitter or whatever, I always either ask their grandparents. And I can say, for me, I was truthfully blessed with my kids. Because they had the most awesome grandparents and aunties. I never had to really ask them to babysit because they took turns on weekends taking the kids. So from Friday night until Sunday, I was a free mama. And I didn't have to ask because that's what they did. It was like clockwork. One weekend, they was at grandma number 1. The other weekend, they was at grandma number 2. And that's throughout their whole entire life. So, I just, they just was always there. So, that's why I say I was blessed. Now, me, as a grandmother, I'm not going to be like them. Not this mama. Y'all was blessed. Be thankful for what the Lord gave you. But this mama ain't babysitting. Only way I'm babysitting your kids is if you got to go to work. That's it. I ain't babysitting no other time. Don't bring no from over here with your nonsense. I'm not doing it. But this is a different time. And I'm just not doing it. I had to raise them. I need my relaxation. So y'all understand. Mama had to go through.
I did my time. That's it. I stopped for a reason.
Y'all gotta understand when you choose to have children, you choose the responsibility with that child. So that's gonna mean you may have to pay for babysitting. You may have to say no to the club here and there. You may not can't chill with your friends. Hey, that's the hard knock life to have children. They want you to do it. If they can't go, you can't go.
That's right.
That's what my mama told me. If the kids ain't allowed in the building, you shouldn't be in the building. It's just that simple. But when it came to watching them, like when I had to go to work and stuff like that, they always was with their grandparents. So my village was my village. I don't depend on neighbors and stuff. I don't trust people like that. Mm-hmm. And in this world and in this day, you can't trust people. Yeah. Because the people you trust be the ones messing up your kids.
Yeah. I was lucky like that too. My son was with my mom, and then my sisters did the same thing. They took turns with him.
And I think now, and I just think now, like, I mean, grant sake, and you got to take the situations for what they are, because everybody's situation is a little different from somebody else's. But when it comes to, the grandparents is raising the kids and this and that, you got to kind of look at everybody's situation for what it is, because we have a lot of babies raising babies. Like, these girls is pregnant at 13, 14-year-old. So who else is going to raise them? When that child ain't even got the mind state, maturity, or anything else to take to get no baby, that's like a baby child. That's like a baby child. They just want to dress them up, take them outside, and take pictures and put them all on social media. How many kids you see up here pop locking and popping their butt, talking about Doodle Brown? What y'all know about anybody Doodle Brown?
Yeah.
And your child like 3 or 4 years old. It's like, come on now. Who raising who? No. But I do think as parents, we take over. Some parents take over. And they take that responsibility away from that actual parent. Because you let my 14-year-old have a kid, you're going to take care of this week.
Yeah, but that's
understand that you ain't never gonna want to have another one.
Right. I was just about to say that. That's where I think the problem falls down at, or that's where the problem lies, because we say that, if my young child have a child, then I'm going to make sure they raise this child because they're going to learn. It's like it's used as a punishment.
Mm-hmm. It ain't a punishment. You got to learn.
No, but but you're using it as a punishment. It's not like, this is my chance now to teach you how to raise a child. It's like, no, you want to go outside? No, you shouldn't have had this baby. Sit inside. So now you have a child raising another child, and that child is now starting to despise this child because the grandparent has decided to use this child as a way of punishment rather than as a way of honing and growing and grooming this person to be a responsible adult. So even with us, when we go to
by not dating them and not allowing them to take the responsibility for their child.
But understanding that even when you are as an adult, we all have jobs. But every last one of us get a lunch break, and every last one of us may get a 15 or 30 minute. You may get 2 15s and a 30. You may get 1 15 and 1 45. Most adults at least get a smoke break. So, right, exactly. So we all know that we get breaks, and if they're not built into our schedule, we find some way to build it into our schedule. But when a parent, we understand that parenting is a full-time job. That parenting never stops. So when our children do something like produce a child, we should not be in the place in the mind frame of using that as a form of punishment. So child he want to go, or she want to go to a party. No, you should have thought about that before you went out here and had sex. Now you got a baby. Stay home with your child because I ain't watching nobody baby.
But that's all in how you speaking to that. I'm not saying it.
No,
that's how you supposed to speak to
but that's how most parents, especially of the melanin rich community, that's how most of us speak to our children. You should have thought about this before you did this. No, I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting here watching nobody's kid. You going to sit on home and you're going to watch your own child because you should have thought about this when I was telling you about having your little stank behind out here in these streets. So now you have these children who are now raising these children and now becoming to despise these children because now I have lost my childhood because of a decision I've made. Yes. So instead of us using these children as punishments, we need to use them as a model or a tool to, number one, grow and to nurture our next generation of responsible adults. Number two, we should use them to show grace and mercy because understanding that we as adults made mistakes as youth as well, and we did not constantly get that thrown in our face or held over our head. No, maybe we didn't have children at a young age, but we did other crazy dumb stuff. I know I didn't have children at a young age. I didn't have children until I was an adult, but I remember getting caught I remember actually getting caught in the bodega stealing juice from the back of the thing. Had a book bag full of them. Had at least $20 worth of juice in my book bag. I remember that. We all do stupid stuff. It's just what we do. So, but being given grace and understanding that that man could have definitely called the cops. Cops could have came, brought me home. That would have been my booty. I remember we was on our way to a trip. It was our first thing in the morning. We had a whole plan. We had did it before and it worked. We had after school. Everybody was in the store buying stuff. One of my friends went to the front, was like buying chips, like looking at chips. The other guy was buying candy, making sure the guy wasn't paying attention. I was in the back. I had a JanSport, one of them old school JanSport leather book bags, and it had books so heavy that it ripped the spots. So I had like a little circle where that little hoop piece used to be, and I go in the back and I just grab and drop all the stuff in those things, and then we run up the street and we all got these different sodas, and we just like boom, we good. So one morning before trip, I was like, boom, we're going to do it again. Got ready to do it again. My guy was buying the candy. This dude was smart now. Now he's watching me. Now he's seeing me drop these things in my book bag. I turn around. My boy didn't give me even an inkling of knowing, yo, somebody's coming. Dude, he was trying to order the candy. Guy ignored him, left from the behind the thing. He sees him coming for me. He takes off and run. I'm in the store by myself. All my boys have left me, and now I'm caught. The guy comes, grab my book bag, take all the juices out. He's like, you get out of here, you don't come back. I'm running up the street. My boys is all the way up the street on the corner laughing at me because I got caught. I did stupid stuff. Now, he could have held me up, could have called the cops, all that other stuff, brought me home. I could have got my butt whooped because I had old parents who believed in switches. But he didn't. He showed me grace. He told me to get out, don't come back.
I'm not saying that you're not supposed to show your child grace. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to use your child getting pregnant at a young age as a punishment. But what I am saying is that now you're not just on raising your own child. Now you have to add on a plus one. So yes, you are going to learn how to take care of your child because this is your responsibility. Somewhere down the line, at a young age, you took it upon yourself to make a grown person decision. So when you 14 and 15 years old and you making grown people decisions, now you do end up losing your childhood because you decided to make a grown person decision. And you want to take responsibility for what you made a decision to do. Now going forward, we gonna make decisions together to make sure y'all both good. Because I ain't paying just for you no more. Because you ain't got no job. You can't take care of this kid. You still living in my house, and you want to go party while I'm out there busting my ass to take care of 2 kids. They have to hold some type of responsibility for the decisions that they make. So as they get older, they don't make those same decisions and make those same mistakes. You're going to think twice before you decide to lay down and open up your legs. If you got a good parent. That's all I'm saying. It's not a punishment, no. because we all gonna get together and we gonna raise this baby. You gonna graduate from school. You gonna do what you supposed to do, all with that baby on your head. Because that's the decision you made. You can't coddle. You can't. They gotta know what responsibility and accountability is. And it's unfortunate the way you gotta learn it is at that young of an age. Because everybody want to think they grown until you gotta act, until you become grown. But it's not a punishment. Children are beautiful things that blessings from God.
Like how she just turned that out real quick.
Like she's psycho.
Flipped it real quick. Are you gonna raise this baby? But children are blessed from God.
They are. They are blessings, but you can't act grown and then think you're not gonna take responsibility. And that's what I mean by we take the responsibility away from our kids. And that's why you have a lot of young kids out here having kids because they have multiple kids, not just one. They have multiple children because you're taking the responsibility away from them. It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm gonna be grandma and not babysit, let you go out and play with your friends. It's a whole nother when I let you go outside play with your friends and here you come back at my house with baby number 2.
That happens a lot. That does. That happens a lot, believe it or not. But that's because parents don't be putting their foot down like they're supposed to. Some of these parents think that they're their kids' friends. Some of these parents be trying to be down. And they let the kid walk all over them. And come back out to the house with baby number 2 and sometimes 3. Shit, sometimes 4.
And baby number 4, you got to go get your older
I've seen it.
Hell no.
Then the cycle continues because that young parent grow up and raise their kids the best way they know how, and then they have one out the bunch that do the same exact thing. The cycle never ends.
Yeah, because you got a child raising a child.
Yeah.
You got a child raising a child.
Limited.
And that all goes back to how they was raised.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, all of us, we all was raised different, and we have our different backgrounds. And we all know when I like I said, when I was growing up, I didn't like my village or whatever because they told on us every given chance that they possibly could get, they possibly could. And it's like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But yet, you had that respect for your village because my mother still made us get up and go to the store for them, even though you just got me books. It was what it was. But we knew our boundaries. We knew that we couldn't do certain things because we was going to get in trouble by somebody, whether it be my mama or the neighbors. We was getting in trouble. It was like, I don't know if they had I don't know if they had telescopes off their windows, just nosy, y'all old, y'all ain't got nothing. But it was what it was. You don't have that thing. And Derek is right in many aspects. You don't have people looking out for your best interest, but then again, you can't trust everybody. So it's like you damned if you do and you damned if you don't.
But it's not about trusting every. Sorry. No, I cut you off. You can say go ahead.
It's
Okay, David.
No, I'm just saying it's not about trusting everybody. It's about trusting somebody. And the problem is that society has made us to not trust anybody. Because most of the people that hurt or we get hurt by, most of those people are people we know, people we close to, people that we may call Uncle so-and-so, Aunt so-and-so, cousin so-and-so. So it makes you, if you can't trust family, then I can't trust anybody. But the fact of the matter is that we have to learn to trust somebody. And when you learn to trust somebody, then you know that, and you have to pretty much not to be spiritual, but to call, as they say in the church house, you have to try the spirit by the spirit. So I have to learn to trust somebody and understand that my gift of discernment, because every one of us has some form of discernment where we can understand and feel a vibe of someone that says, okay, I can feel like my child is going to be safe around this person. Why? Not because we just automatically gave it to them, but because they have earned it. Because they have shown it, they have proven and shown themselves to be someone that you can trust. I know for a fact that I can trust my children around Kara, because I see how she deals with her children. So I know if she's going to do, and if she treats her kids a certain way and she do certain things for her kids, then I know that if she holds her kids to a certain regard, that means that she's not going to just allow my kids to just do whatever. So if we all at an event and I'm not around, and Juice is acting a fool and Kyra gets up in his face and says, "Get your life together," I know that she did that on purpose. Why? Because she sees that if she knows me, and she knows the fact that if the way he's acting would not be acceptable. And because I know that she does not allow her children to do stuff that's unacceptable, I can trust that she's going to do the same for my children. So then when she comes to me and say, I had to get up in Juice's butt today because he was acting a fool. While you was in the bathroom. I'm not going to get mad at her. Like, oh, you need to keep your hands and keep your face out of my baby face. I'm going to look at Juice and say, all right, so what I tell you about acting up when I'm not around. Because I have learned to trust her, because I see what her work has already done. I see how she reacts to her children. So her being in my village is okay. Now, I'm not just gonna trust Cleopatra around my child because I don't know Cleopatra. Especially if Cleopatra children be writing on walls and breaking windows. You don't even take care of your own kids. So therefore you can't come and try to discipline mine. You understand, that's the point of the village.
That lazy parent might be biting off a little more than they can chew.
Right. Like, I understand the village. Understanding how the village is made up.
Out here blowing up buildings and shit.
Right. You have to understand, and a big problem with understanding the village is the fact that we as young people growing up, we did not attach ourselves to people, to those permanent fixtures of the village, because the whole idea is that we're supposed, as young people, we grow up and we're supposed to attach ourselves to certain people so we can learn what they learned, so we can know what they know, and then as we learn these things, and then we apply it to how we are today and what we do today. So now our village has broken down because nobody wants to attach themselves to anybody of the village. I don't want to be around sisters. I don't want to be around Miss Jenkins because Miss Jenkins talk too much. But understanding that Miss Jenkins talk a lot because Miss Jenkins paid attention. So Miss Jenkins looked out her window to make sure what was going on. So people knew, drug dealers knew not to sell drugs in front of Miss Jenkins' house.
How you doing, Mr.
Because Miss Jenkins always was home. So you knew when I lived in Newark. I lived on Osborne Terrace. I knew which way to take home because I knew certain people always was home. So I never had to worry about getting robbed. I never had to worry about getting jumped because these people knew my family and they always was home and they always was nosy. But now growing up, people looking at it like, oh, nah, I don't want to be around Miss Jenkins because Miss Jenkins talk too much. Miss Jenkins always telling somebody business. Yes, but Miss Jenkins was always home. So if somebody broke into my uncle was on drugs. He broke into my parents' house when I was younger. Miss Jenkins knew that it was him. So when we came home and like he ransacked our house and he took a dump in the bathroom. Like, how do you break somebody's house and dookie and don't flush? Took my dad's long johns that he just bought from Valley Fair, took them, put them on, left the wrapping on the floor. My father came out the house. He was like, he came out the house. He told my mom, like, somebody broke in the house, whatever. My mom was like, who was it? I don't know. He's walking around. Miss Jenkins comes outside. And she was like, I saw your nephew come out of there. He was walking around the house looking real suspicious, and then he came back out and he just went running down the street.
Mm-hmm. Just the one I can't see.
Something wrong with my camera and my AirPods.
So we don't.
I get the part. I get what you say about you have to trust somebody, but it's very hard to trust people now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because the village has been completely dismantled.
It's who in the village.
Right, because your village has been dismantled. The village itself has been dismantled, and because nobody has attached themselves to certain people, nobody has watched how certain things are done. Nobody knows. So now you just have a village full of strangers because you haven't even taken a chance to even learn the people that's around you. Some of us have lived in some of us have lived in some of these same apartments or houses for a number of years and don't even know their neighbors.
That's me.
So you wouldn't even know. Well, you don't even know in the village. You wouldn't even know who does what or who can do what or who can help you with what because you don't even take out a minute to even know who your neighbor is. It's me too. I know my neighbor. I know my neighbor on the exact left, and I know the two neighbors on my exact right. That's all I know. I don't know nobody across the street except for the two new big booty ladies that moved in across the street. That's all.
I gotta see them.
Yeah,
That's a lot of us. We go and come, and we keep our head down.
Yeah, I can say that's how I am because I don't care to get to know who my neighbors is. Like I see y'all coming, I see y'all going, or whatever. Not to say that they bad people because they may or they may not be. I just don't care to get to know them. I have no reason to because when it comes to many different things, I'm not gonna be thinking it's one. You can ring mine. You know what I'm saying? You can ring mine. I have no problem with that. But I won't be ringing yours. That's just how I am. I mind my business. I keep it separate. You can call my name as I'm coming into the house. I won't even look. My friend had pulled up on me one day. I was coming out the store. I'm minding my business. I don't hear nothing. I don't see nothing but what's in front of me. She literally had the honk her horn and yelled my whole complete name before I was turning around. And I was like, she was like, yo, you got tunnels that I ain't got listen. My focus is to get in my house. That's it. I ain't trying to say hi to nobody. I ain't trying to talk. I ain't trying to do none of the above. But it was nice to see you. I don't be paying attention at all. If I'm walking, which is very seldom you will see me walking, but if I am walking, I don't pay attention to horns. I don't pay attention to none of that. I just don't. I don't got time. I don't care who honking their horn. I don't care who trying to say hi. Nothing. None of that. Nope. Sorry. Not doing it. But you can always knock on my door. I'm a very nice neighbor. I may let you in. I may not.
Yeah,
what it is, but it's what it's up.
I ain't going out of my way to talk to nobody either.
Yeah, I'm not that trustworthy, especially with my kids. I am not that trustworthy. I am happy, fine, and content with grandma, aunties, and uncles, and some cousins, and my friends. Outside of that, not with my children. And they big, and my kids ain't little kids. So at the age they are, if I still don't trust people, I still want to know where you going, where, who house you by. I don't care how old you is. Where is you go?
Right.
Like
so what? Ain't no out in my house. You better have
like, yo, mind your business, mom. Going out, yo.
No. Ain't no way
That's how
no
it is,
how.
right?
No, not here. Because it's just too dangerous in the world to just have your children
It's willy nilly.
with any old body.
Right.
It's just too dangerous. Like my son, I know his friends. His friends know who I am. When he running, like one time his phone died. His friend called me like, "Yo, he on his way home," because they know I'm psycho. I'll be in that car. You gotta, cause he got curfew. You better be at this house when I tell you to be home. Otherwise, I'm coming to get you. When if I come look for you, we gonna definitely have problems. I'm the village. I'm the village. You ain't with
The village of one.
The village of one. I'm coming for you. I'm the lookout. I get it. You do have to sometimes put your trust in some people, but sometimes it is very hard to trust because people sometimes are just they can show you.
People fuck you over.
People will show you what they want to show you, but they a different person outside of your sight. So you just
That's right.
got to get with your kids.
That's right.
Definitely have to be careful with your kids, but being a parent, and I guess being a single parent, when you don't have, that support from the father or the father's family, or even your family for that matter, it can definitely become difficult. And then at that point, you don't have a choice but to try to trust God. Because no matter what, we all need help with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need help raising our kids. But the one thing you just don't want to do is take the responsibility from the parents to be parents. Otherwise, you and your kids both gonna be at the club smoking and drinking together.
Mm-hmm.
We not doing that. We not doing that. You gotta be accountable for your children. You gotta be responsible for them. Nobody else's responsibility to take care of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't care how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
I agree fully with that.
Bobby. Right. Seven is hot. What's our time?
We still got time.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm looking at the clock like I don't know what time we came on, but
We was 10 minutes late.
I know we was late. But it's like 9:07 now.
We was 10 minutes late. And we've been on for 50.
Justin, we barely heard from you today. What's good? You don't got nothing to say? You don't have no views?
I had a bunch of technical difficulties. I'm still having problems, but I'm here.
I know you did. Do you have anything?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, I ain't gonna come off and sound redundant. I mean, we all pretty much on the same page. Like everyone, I mean, growing up, we all had villages. We all had people that was like willing to make sure that we was good and we wasn't doing no crazy shit. The people that was in my village, they got on my damn nerves because they wouldn't leave me alone. All I wanted to do was just chill out and hang out with my friends. They wasn't down with that. But I thank God for them though, because I could have been like way worse off than I am now, hanging out with the wrong people. So, I just try to use the lessons that they taught me to kind of apply that to my kids. But it is what it is.
Everybody has lessons to learn because I know, even though I wasn't a young mother, I don't think I was that young. I was 21 when I had my first. And I think that if it wasn't for the responsibility of taking care of my child, I wouldn't have learned some of the lessons that I learned that I have today, which is a lot. When you have to take care of another human being besides yourself. So, and I'm grateful for, like I said, I'm very grateful for the grandparents because after baby number 2, he almost was a goner because I was about to lose my goddamn mom with baby number 2. So, and that taught me patience. That middle kid, you got to have a lot of patience to this day. But without them, I'll be worse off than what I am. I'll be different. A whole lot different. I learned how to laugh instead of cry.
I started driving because of my son.
Girl,
if I never had a kid, I wouldn't have did the driving thing.
I mean, they intensify some of my habits, but other than that, it is what it is. I will take responsibility for my kids until the day I have no more breath in my body. But I'm proud of my kids, and I'm proud of the parent that I am to my kids. So it is what it is. I don't know everything, but I think I'm a damn good mom. Right, Derek?
You right.
Derek likes to take credit for the firstborn.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Derek loves to take credit for that firstborn child of mine. And we did a good job.
We did do a good job. We were awesome.
Oh gosh. All right, people. I do believe our hour is now up. And I thank everybody for tuning in, for blessing us with your presence. If you couldn't tune in and you view this later, God bless you. Thank you for your support. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. We do appreciate you. And of course, my words of the end of this, my words of wisdom is, if you cannot take the responsibility and accountability for your children, you do not need to have them. There is nobody else's responsibility to take care of what you decided to bring into this world. And don't mess these kids up by not being a responsible parent to them. It's nobody else's job but your job. And do your job well, like you're getting paid. That's it. Nice. Anybody got anything else to say?
Family members, like we mentioned earlier, it's a lot of people that are off and can't be trusted. So if you do have that single parent or that couple that might need a babysitter for, I don't know, go to work or whatever, take care of something, don't give them a helping hand. You just give them a helping hand, because they might end up taking them out to somebody that could hurt the child. So, if you can help.
Touche.
I ain't volunteering my services, though.
I'm sorry. I was like, don't call me. But,
somebody is going to help you.
Somebody will help. Don't call me. Or, you know what? Do like, because my mother was different. She was nice sometimes, but for the most part, you had to give her a couple of dollars. You had to throw something her way. She wasn't babysitting for free.
So you had to throw mama a couple of beans.
Yes, you had to give her something.
That's how it gotta be sometimes. Cause you ain't gonna keep thinking this a free ride, like you gonna drop your kid off there. No. Yeah. I need to get my nails done. Can you help my sister?
That's her. That's her. Sure, I got him. You're gonna stop and pick me up some Newports on the way, and I'm low on cash, so if you can give me about $30 for my pocket, I'll take care of them.
Responsibility.
That's
what it is.
Yeah.
Damn. Everybody mama ain't nice like that.
yeah, that's it, homie.
I'm telling you, like I told time, don't try it. Because if you drop your child off and think that I'm going to babysit without my permission, you're going to find your child sitting on that porch waiting for you to come home.
God, that sounds good.
Not my house.
But you're going to see that baby, you're going to be like,
no, I'm not. No, you're not going to be dropping off your kid. I'm sorry. Your mama going out. I waited 27 years to go out, and then my little bitty's like, y'all ain't about to stop this club. Nope. Me and my man gonna be out. Peace.
That's right.
Not trying to make babies. Okay? Some of y'all, I'm retiring young so I can live life young. That don't include being nobody's grandma. Babysitting. Be taking the baby with us while we trying to go out and have this time, not have them get the baby.
Come get the baby.
And where they really gonna hide? Because I'm gonna already know where you at. So here go your child. You dropped the wrong house.
Go get the baby.
Or baby got 2 grandmothers.
Shit, I had 3.
Hey, that's even better. Take them to them. Don't bring them over here. Don't worry. Mama out. Living her life. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I already got it counted down to a sign by the time I was so I'm good. I'm still young enough to just go ahead and bowl all hours. Walk around the house, butt naked, having fun with my man. That's the life for me.
That's it.
Walk around the house butt naked with her man that she not gonna let touch. That's the life.
Derek, do you have any last words for us?
No, y'all done said enough.
I feel the same way. It's like, damn. Y'all don't touch base on everything.
That's the life of what a parent wants to do when their kids are grown and living their own life. The responsible ones, anyway. The irresponsible ones, y'all don't get that. Y'all watch them grandbabies because you didn't watch your own kids. But thank y'all for tuning in. I hope everyone has a blessed and beautiful rest of their night. Peace, love, and